There have been countless claims and rumors being shared on social media today to do with the presidential election. One of the biggest is to do with the Arizona ballots. Our Jason Puckett verifies.
Let's talk about Sharpies and ballots. We've seen tons of similar posts about this. Core claim that polling places in Arizona were giving voters Sharpies to fill out their ballots, and that filling out a ballot with Sharpie would cause ink to bleed through, which in turn would make it unreadable to voting machines and invalidate those ballots. But are the claims even true? To find out, the Verify team went directly to county election officials in Arizona. According to the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, the claims are false. Chairman Clint Hickman posted this letter Wednesday explaining, quote, Sharpies do not invalidate ballots. He further explains the, quote, offset columns on ballots ensure that any bleed through will not impact your vote, and that they intentionally provided Sharpies on election day because they, quote, have the fastest drying ink. So, claim false. Using a Sharpie in Arizona did not invalidate ballots. Folks, if you're seeing other claims out there you want us to look into, send us an email with your Verify. I'm Jason Puckett.